Folks, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I hope you're ready for some good old barbarian-style action. This one's going to be the Lusitani of the Iberian Peninsula taking on the Gauls of Gaul. So, yeah, we've got a good matchup here for you. The Gauls... did I say the Gauls? Yes, the Arverni. I'm still stuck on Rome 1 names a lot of times because that just shows you how old I am. The Arverni are going to have better armor and kind of longevity in a fight. They have these chosen swordsmen, which are a nice mid-tier heavy sword unit. They're going to have a pretty darn respectable armor, pretty good attack damage, or sorry, weapon damage, and really solid defense. They're going to be a little bit lacking on the offensive side compared to some barbarian infantry, but still very capable units. There's going to be 2 Oathsworn, both where the general's at, and the Oathsworn is kind of the do-it-all package. It has big damage, it has big attack, it has big charge, it has good armor. There's almost nothing bad about Oathsworn, except for the fact that they can't be as fast as cavalry, but that would just be magic then, wouldn't it? So there's going to be 3 Celtic slingers up front, and then we're going to have a line of levy freemen leading them. So a very simple army, heavy horse, heavy swords. That's the kind of stuff that the Arverni are typically putting on the field. We take a look at the Lusitani army. There's going to be a few Balearic slingers up front, so some very powerful skirmishing power. I see veteran shield warriors and some Lusitani swordswomen. So just to get a quick look at these units to juxtapose against their Arverni counterparts, like these swordwomen, very good attack, way lower damage, way lower armor. And then the Lusitani swordswomen don't even have a good charge bonus. So these are really units that need to be going into a fight after it's already been started and after they've discharged their javelins. Now, on the other hand, the veteran shield warriors can charge in. Their armor is still very much lacking compared to the Arverni. So these are going to be a do their damage quick type of unit. They're not going to like sticking around in a heavyweight fight. There's more veteran shield warriors and then a Lusitani noble here in the back. The Lusitani noble is more akin to your Oathsworn, but the big difference being the armor, and then it trades off a lot of damage for more attack. So it's similar to the veteran shield warriors, just an upgraded version of it. We've got some guerrillas on the flanks. These are stock spear units that can get closer to a fight without being seen. And then there's Scutari cavalry in a back line here. So Arverni has the weight advantage here and just the overall armor defense type advantage. I like the use of the levy freemen to put some javelins into the slingers. This heavy horse is going to annihilate those swordwomen because they can't brace when they're tossing their javelins. And that is going to be an extremely effective charge in terms of getting a lot of kills. So despite having a skirmish advantage, there's a lot of trades going on early here. Some very aggressive charges from the Arverni. And honestly, it hasn't been too terrible for them. They might lose some of their levy freemen, but it'll get this engagement started and kind of start softening up the already somewhat squishy units for the Lusitani in terms of their armor. I mean, really nice charges on the heavy horse. That one got 63 kills. That one's racking up some quick. Let's look over here. This one picked up 71 kills. That's a lot of early kills. Now, the veteran shield warriors will do great against levy freemen. Levy freemen lack armor. They lack any staying power. They're perfect targets for these Lusitani type swords. Look at that, both heavy cavalry. These ones did not get such a good charge over here. Comes a secondary charge. These those are levy freemen routing. Shield warriors getting a charge there. Okay, so we're going to get to see how the barbarian chosen swordsmen match up against the shield warriors. I mean, attack-wise, the shield warriors are better. Armor-wise, the chosen swords are better. Interesting that Lusitani are pulling back here while being pursued. I'm surprised we haven't seen kind of an interdiction yet by the Scutari cavalry. See how this is going. This Lusitani swordwoman was pretty beat up by the time it even got into the fight. This chosen swordman is getting absolutely wrecked here. So some trade-offs so far in the engagements. That shield warrior's taking some point-blank sling fire. All the Balearic slingers still alive though, and that's not going to bode well for the Arverni. If the Arverni want to win this, they need to challenge this backline at some point. But look at the Scutari cav and a lot of the infantry and stuff kind of holding back, not getting too involved too early, so that they're not getting themselves killed either. Scutari cavalry does intercept the heavy horse there. It's a nice play because that horse is looking for a big charge into those shield warriors. It's still going to get a few kills on them. This looks like a cycle charge going on out here from the veteran shield warriors into the chosen swords. The Lusitani are making good progress against the Arverni infantry, and there's still quite a few forces left for the Lusitani. So we'll get a feel here for what's going to happen. The ambushers are coming up and discharging their javelins into that heavy horse. It's going to cause a lot of friendly fire. But, I mean, they do want to get rid of that heavy horse. Here comes the Oathsworn, moving up into combat. It's going to have no problem against veteran shield warriors. Veteran shield warriors have high enough attack that they'll get a little bit of damage done, but they lack the armor piercing necessary to really put any big damage on the Oathsworn. But if the focus fire comes in, then we could see the Oathsworn get torn apart. I see a lot of fire coming into this, and it is focused on the Oathsworn, so this is the Lusitani's decision on how to deal with that Oathsworn, apparently, which is to just absolutely bury it in missile fire. The Noble is being activated here, so let's see that, and it is getting absolutely buried. That Oathsworn's already lost 20 unit entities there. And then the Noble is pulling itself up, getting ready for combat. There's a break here in the middle of the Arverni line. Man, that Oathsworn just continues to get absolutely trucked by all these Balearic slingers. They are feeding it a steady diet of lead sling bullets that can't be pleasant. I'm assuming lead, I don't know, maybe something else. Didn't they use metallic sling bullets sometimes, or was it probably just sharpened rocks or something? I don't know. In any case, here we go. The heavy horse is going to be charging through here. That unit is a bit dangerous, and I do see a heavy horse unit making it to some slingers back here, and despite low numbers, it can be pretty dangerous, so those slingers are going to want to fend that off. There's a gorilla right here that could be used to maybe do a little damage. It's going to get charged before it can do that. So the slinger's now becoming vulnerable. Let's look at this fight over here. That Oathsworn taking on the Nobles, and ultimately I do think that the Oathsworn would do better in this fight, plus it's assisted here, and we're now seeing sling fire focused on it, so it's getting the return of what it did to this Oathsworn. And what's amazing, though, is that Oathsworn took all that firepower, and it's still gotten 125 kills, and it still has 76 units left. Just to give you an idea of how tough an Oathsworn is, that is not a unit to be taken lightly, because it is not a light unit. Over here, that Chosen Swordsman is getting a little bit wrapped up by this Veteran Shield Warrior. It's needed badly to support that Lusitani Noble. The Lusitani Noble is getting wrecked, and look at that fire right into the back of those Shield Warriors. So this could turn against the Lusitani here. We'll see. They still possess these Balearic Slingers. I don't know how much ammo they have left, and there is a cavalry all over them. One of them is dropping to the cavalry. It's going to need to be focused out. If they can focus it out, maybe there's enough ammo left. They could turn this fight. But there's also 3 Celtic Slingers back here, and they're absolutely working that Veteran Shield Warrior. Yep, there goes the cavalry. So the Arverni have no more speed. There is a single Skutari cavalry left. It's being guarded by a Chosen Sword. So we'll see what happens here. The Lusitani General, though, is probably going to buy the farm here any moment. It's in way over his head. Fairly impressive performance, all things considered. There are some Oathsworn exposed here, but this is definitely going to cause some friendly fire, taking shots at that Oathsworn from the current position of these slingers. There is a Chosen Sword charging into those slingers, and then this fight wraps up in favor of the Lusitani, and the Skutari cavalry dies attempting to get to the Celtic slingers. That swordsman is going to go down before it gets into combat. The Oathsworn's being chipped away at, but not as quickly as the Lusitani Noble is dropping, so we're seeing a pretty crazy fight here in the end. It's actually starting to favor the Arverni, so at least according to the power bar, and when I look at it, I tend to agree that Oathsworn has got to be dealt with. It's 90-something entity strong. And then the Celtic Slingers, although weaker by comparison, there's not much armor, and I don't know about the shield strength on these Lusitani units, but it's probably not outstanding. Oh, daggers out. Yeah, it's not good. I think the Lusitani are gonna lose this one. Weird. They pulled the Lusitani Noble out of that fight, away from the Oathsworn, because it was using its Headhunter ability. I don't see how the Lusitani unbury themselves here. It looks like maybe trying to busy the other Oathsworn with some slingers, while trying to get a better fight for their own nobles. I mean, I like the attempt here. There is a little bit of ammo left on this single slinger, and it's pouring it in there. We're daggers out on one Celtic Slinger. This one too, so 2 units daggers out. That Lusitani Noble does come over here and clean up the Chosen Sword pretty effectively. If this Slinger can finish unloading its ammunition? Do they have a chance? Can the Lusitani turn this? I'm not 100% sure. This Chosen Sword looks like it's trying to intercept that while the Oathsworn finishes business against the Balearic Slinger. It looks like this Slinger unit was still unloading its last little bits of ammunition. The Ambushers are pretty quick units. They should be able to fend it off. That Noble has now gotten together with this Shield Warrior, and they managed to take out, or nearly take out, this Chosen Sword. Daggers out for the last Balearic Slinger unit, so I don't know. It doesn't look good. 68 Oathsworn is a pretty decent chunk to take out. One of the Slingers, though, routed. Boy, that Gorilla continues to take fire here. This Slinger unit still having ammunition left is really crushing the Lusitani's hopes. And that Oathsworn has 276 kills, and it outnumbers its foes that are left, so it's going to be a tight finish, but I have a hard time believing that the Lusitani can really pull this one off. There comes that headhunt again. Are they going to try and just continue to busy the Oathsworn? I don't know, they're feeding it kills. And the Ambushers are not giving up on these Slingers because they still have a volley or so left. I don't know how much they have left. It's like the Lusitani attempting to maybe just kind of go gangbusters on the Arverni. Did their general die? They got attacked in the rear, so that's going to hurt them a little. This Noble is looking for a rear charge. And it looks like the Arverni are going to try and charge them, countercharge, yep. But they're also going to be followed by those veteran shield warriors. It's going to cause them some casualties. But it does give them a charge bonus against the Nobles. But look at that, their leadership just started to falter there. I do think the Lusitani might turn this one around. If they can go ahead and finish the deal here, surround it. It's now losing combat because of, oh my gosh, the Lusitani pulled off a miracle there. Wow. That Oathsworn probably could have tanked those guys, but a very nice bit of maneuvering there at the end saved the Lusitani and leaves only a Celtic Slinger to continue the fight, and honestly, it probably doesn't have enough ammunition left to finish this one. But if he continues to pursue it, there we go. That was a pretty crazy finish. I actually thought the Arverni had that one wrapped up. And that's, in some ways, a bit of the result that I kind of expected here, just because that is one of the challenges of playing Lusitani. They are a very high damage dealing faction. Consider them kind of like the Wood Elves in a way, right? They're a little bit, I mean, it's a lot less pronounced than, say, Warhammer 3. They have very quick moving units, and they deal very heavy damage early in a fight. But they're kind of like a glass cannon is probably the best way to imagine the Lusitani, right? They fall apart a little bit later. Sorry, the dog's barking. I don't know what he's on too, but yeah. Whereas the Arverni are a little different, as I mentioned at the beginning of this battle, a little heavier, a little more well-armored and defensive. The Oathsworn, of course, are the full package. The Chosen Swords sit a little more on the defensive side of the ball. They don't have near as much slinging capability, though the Heavy Horse are really good hitters, and you see that here with some nice hits out of those Heavy Horse, only one of them not getting over 100 kills. And of course, Levy Freemen are a pretty versatile unit, albeit kind of weak, ultimately. And so just overall, I think a pretty darn solid result here for the Lusitani, all things considered, because the Arverni are a tough faction. They've got some good units. The combination of Heavy Horse, Heavy Swords, and Oathsworn makes them pretty deadly to quite a few factions when used properly. So the Lusitani pulled off a nice victory here. You can see the kills very much more spread out across the Lusitani. And again, that's because a lot of their units possess the capability to get kills quickly, although they may not last very long. But those Balearic Slingers got some work done too. Very nice job when you invest that much into those skirmishers. It was very patient play, keeping those horsemen back and keeping units back to keep those slingers safe while they did their damage, and then that focus fire into this Oathsworn. But again, remember, that was triple focus fire into that Oathsworn. It still picked up 186 kills in a chevron. Just to give you guys an idea how tough these Oathsworn are. They are very tough units. These guys will make Roman legionaries cry, even on the best of days for the Romans. So in any case, hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate Madetai, or however I'm going to say it wrong, and Valor here. Appreciate them giving us an awesome matchup. This was a really fun one, and appreciate them sending in that replay. I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Rome 2. Hope you enjoyed it.